Good evening, everyone. This is Melinda Murillo, and today we'll be discussing First Hack Part 1, Lab 3. The next slide will show you a system scan of vulnerabilities, and the command that was used was nmap --script vuln, and then the IP address, which was 192.168.56.102. And these were the results once I ran that command. The next slide gives the identification and categorization of vulnerabilities that were found in the system scan. For instance, immediate and critical vulnerabilities take the system off any production or public networks right away. Block access to any key ports, so only trusted admin IPS can reach it. Next, high vulnerabilities, disable SSHV1, disable SSLV2 and 3, remove export weak ciphers, stop RPC bind Samba if unused. Medium vulnerabilities, maybe 1 to 7 days, update the system by either upgrading the operating system or doing a clean reinstall, then installing the latest supported versions of all key software like Apache 2.4 and so forth. The long term for vulnerabilities would be keep systems up to date with regular patches, separate sensitive parts of the network to limit exposure, run regular vulnerability scans, and actively monitor for unusual activity. The next slide, as you can see, shows an nmap 192.168.56.0/24 command. This command performs a scan of the entire subnet, checking all 256 IP addresses to see which ones are active and what services they're running. The next slide shows another nmap command, which is nmap -o 192.165.56.102, which was my IP address. The nmap-o command checks the target system and tries to figure out what operating system it's running based on how it responds. The next slide is showing another nmap command, which is nmap -s capital V 192.168.56.102. This command -sv option in nmap is used to find out what services are running on open ports and what versions they are. After nmap detects which ports are open, it sends specific requests to those ports to figure out what kind of service is running, like SSH, HTTP, SQL, and so forth, and tries to identify the exact version if possible. This next slide shows an explanation of flaw hypothesis methodology, which is a structured approach used during penetration testing to help uncover security weaknesses in a system. It's designed to guide testers through a step-by-step process to find and fix potential vulnerabilities before attackers can exploit them. My hypothesis is that multiple ports and old versions were exposed and put the system at real risk, which an attacker could abuse those services to gain control. In this next slide, it shows you the explanation of the flaws. One, the system at 192.168.56.102 is running several outdated and potentially unsafe services, including an old version of SSH that still supports the insecure SSH-v1 protocol, as well as very old versions of Apache, OpenSSL, Samba, and some RPC services. These are known to have serious security flaws and could allow attackers to take control of the system, steal credentials, or access sensitive data. To reduce the risk, the host should be isolated from the rest of the network as soon as possible. Any unnecessary services should be shut down and the system either updated or replaced with current secure setup. A full vulnerability scan is also recommended to identify specific known issues, for instance CVEs, tied to the software versions in use. The next three slides that are coming up, and including this one, are showing you the Nmap commands that I used that were not included in the class video. The first one is Nmap-T4-P-A 192.168.56.0/24. This command runs a fast, thorough TCP port scan across the entire -24 network and tries to identify services, the OS, and any relevant scripts on each host. And as you can see on the slide, I added the results when I ran that command. The second Nmap command that I ran was Nmap-S L 192.168.56.102. This command Nmap performs DNS lookups for each target and shows the resolved host names. No port scanning is performed. And as you can see, I added a screenshot when I ran the command and the results to that command. The last Nmap command that I ran was Nmap-S A 192.168.56.102. We use this command Nmap-S A to detect firewall settings that can be useful during penetration testing and vulnerability scans. And as you can see, I added a screenshot of the command run and the results. And lastly, the last slide is showing you the references that I use throughout my presentation. You all have a good evening.